Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Zach Jose podcast. My name is Zach Jose, and today we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I am Zach's friend Mason, so I am here. I am alive. And what happened to your musical career? How'd that go for you?
Oh, well, I moved, and so we're on like a temporary hiatus for the last couple years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Is that like a broken up band at that point? I don't know. But besides the point, bands and all those are fun to talk about. What we're really here to talk about is something you suggested, which I'm really excited for, our bucket list. So, yeah. What do you think about that? Bucket lists. Have you always had one?
Always had a bucket list that I sort of had in my head, and it's something I always said when talking to people. It's like, oh yeah, that's something I'll put on the bucket list, but I haven't actually written down a bucket list until basically today. And today we're going to be going over it, and we'll also be going over yours, to my understanding.
Yes, we are. I also
Great.
just wrote mine today, but I would like to. Yeah, let's do that. You want to just start with the last one? I kind of like put them in an order of like importance, I suppose. But I mean,
Yeah,
realistically, I don't really need to do it in that order, you know.
I mean, yeah, it's all subjective
Mm,
over how
hmm
cool these ones are. I mean, I have them in some sort of order, but yeah, I can go ahead and start. So, just for context, I do have seven on this bucket list with
hmm
a little surprise at the end, which we'll get to depending. But
Okay,
my first one is actually to one day visit New Zealand, because I mean, I you
interesting.
know I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and they did all of the shooting, like all those gorgeous nature shots in New Zealand,
hmm
and I know it's a big travel destination, so I wouldn't call it like my dream, but it is on the bucket list to one day visit New Zealand and stay for some time, travel around, visit sites, that sort of thing.
Do they have like tours where you can go on old sets where they filmed Lord of the Rings? Have you looked that up?
I have actually. I know for a fact that like Hobbiton, the all the
hmm
little houses in the hills, those are still there. I I know that they took down the set for Theoden's palace. So I mean like there
Oh,
may be some still up, but I know Hobbiton is definitely still there. I can't speak for the others.
that's awesome. Um,
hmm
so you want to visit New Zealand? That's kind of funny. You know what my number seven was?
Was it also visiting New Zealand?
It was visiting the Philippines, which is like a couple miles away.
It's
But
a hop, a skip, and a jump, but that's pretty cool.
yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
what about the Philippines are you looking forward to?
Yeah, a couple years ago I got to visit Argentina, which was awesome because I've never been,
Mhm.
that much out of the country before. And I got to see where my mom's family grew up, and
Mm.
uh, ever since then I've kind of like been interested in the Philippines. I don't know if you know this, but I'm half Filipino, and my dad's family,
Really?
yeah,
That's
really,
incredible. Wow.
and my dad's family
Huh.
is hails from the Philippines. He's actually the first one to be born like in the Americas. So
Awesome.
being able to visit there, I think, would be awesome. And a lot of my family members have gone, so it's not too unrealistic. Um,
Mhm.
I just think it'd be awesome. See where I came from. Maybe learn a little bit of Tagalog. Maybe get a a 90-day fiance, if you know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't know what you're saying, but it sounds like fun, whatever it is.
But yeah, okay, cool. The Philippines. Anyways, oh, you want me to start off the next one?
You know what? Yeah, if you're feeling up for it, go
All
for it.
right, all right, all right. Hear me out. Hear me out. Number six. I want to be a world record holder. That's pretty much it. Not in like races or like the Olympics or anything. That'd be cool. Probably a
Yeah.
little bit unrealistic, but just like in anything, I would like to hold a world record.
I mean, that's a tall order. I mean, I get those Spotify ads for the guy that jump roped like a couple thousand times in
Yeah.
like a minute. So I mean, you could try to beat that guy. What was it? What was his name? I've
I
heard that ad so many times.
yeah. Oh man. Jeez, I couldn't
Oh,
even
jeez.
tell you. Um
But I mean, yeah, that's a tall order. But I mean, yeah, go for it.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I so I'm really into speedrunning. I don't know if you know that or not, but
I did know that.
watching people break games and complete them as fast as possible. Whenever they do like a break a new record, they call that the world record. So if I could, that's kind of like my like in placement. I didn't even say Guinness, right? I don't need nobody
Yeah.
to verify it. I can go on to speedrunnerarchives.com and have some guys behind a screen verify it. That's yeah, I'm keeping
Yeah.
it open. Yeah, if I get a Guinness World Record, sue me. That's awesome. But I'm more realistically gonna get that through like speedrunning and probably not even being like amazing. Maybe like a very like niche category.
Yeah, but I mean that's still doable because I mean the speed
Right.
runs that I've seen, uh, almost every single one I've seen, even though the guy's perfect 99% of the time, he
Mm-hmm.
always misses like one jump, or he always just walks past one little area. And I mean, obviously you'd have to be a computer to be 100% efficient, but it's
Oh
definitely
yeah.
doable. The speedrunners may have the record, but they don't have the best possible record.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome.
What about you, Mason? What's your number six?
So, in the same vein as visiting New Zealand, I'm sort of disappointed in myself as a Lord of the Rings fan for not doing this yet. But on the bucket list is to one day, at some point in my life, watch every single Lord of the Rings movie, extended edition, being the best kind,
Mm-hmm.
in one whole sitting. Now, I've mentioned this to my brothers before, and they all claim it's not doable. Because I mean, how many hours is that?
12. It's
I've
like
never
a little over
12
12.
hours? 12, 13 hours ish. And that's pretty long, but I mean, I've also driven for like 11 straight hours, so I mean, I'm getting
That's
there. I'm getting
unsafe.
there. Yeah, like yes, drive safe, didn't die. Um, so I mean, I've done things for extended periods of time, and watching Lord of the Rings you think would be doable, but
do you want to
we'll have to see.
do you want to combine those? Is there a world record for most back-to-back viewings of the Lord of the Rings extended edition? Because we could do that. Do both of those in like one sitting. What do you think?
If I was to go on a world record book, I would recommend you take the picture like in the first few hours, because I guarantee you at the end of like 96 hours or something ridiculous, I would look like a zombie and I would have like, like I'm sure you've seen pictures of like speed runners
Uh
where
huh.
like there's the guy massaging the shoulders, there's the other guy with the energy drink ready to go, and like the bags under his eyes have bags. Like he
Right,
does
right,
not look
right.
good, but he has a team there to back him up. I would need a team, an A team of men, one as a shoulder rubber, one as an energy drink holder, and maybe more. We'll have to see. But
Shoot.
that is a possibility. That's
Let's
a
do that.
possibility.
Next time I'm in town. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's make that a thing.
Um, cool. You know what else I want to make a thing? Here, seamless transition to the next one. Do you know what else I want to make a thing?
I don't know, Zach. What do you want to make a thing?
I want to make a book a thing. Specifically one written by me. I don't know if that's been established. But yes, I want to write and publish a book um, before I
Is there
die.
a specific genre you're going for? Like, what book are we talking about here?
Um, I'm thinking autobiography because I'm such
Hmm.
an interesting person, Mason. I
A very
everyone
interesting person.
needs to know about me, and for that, I'm gonna have to write an autobiography. That's but I mean, like I said, keeping it generic, write a book. I could publish like a children's book, you know, send it through like some $5 publishing thing and have it on like Barnes and Noble for a week, or like as an old person even. These are
Yeah,
things I could do it as an old person too. I could just sit in my
yeah.
deathbed in writing with like a quill and a scroll. Yeah.
Which would be long outdated, even more so than today by the time you're on your deathbed. But I mean, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I'm in a way also staking money on you becoming famous one day because let the record show, I believe I am the only man in the world right now with a signed piece of Zach Jose merch, which I have on my desk right now, and it's pretty great. So you should become famous because then I can sell your merch and make money. What I'm
Right.
saying? You
Yeah.
picking up what
Okay.
I'm putting down?
I'll do it for you, Mason. Do it. Hashtag do it for Mason. Let's do
Write
this.
write an autobiography and become famous just so I can sell this picture you gave me.
Okay.
We'll make history and some money. So, I mean, I guess we'll bebop over to my number five.
Mm-hmm.
So, my number five, it's something that I've definitely thought about. And I mean, you see it in like National Geographic magazines all the time. And like my dad at one point had a bunch of diving magazines.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I want to just something simple. I want to go snorkeling in a coral reef or just in some warm ocean somewhere, be it the Caribbean, be it Hawaii, be it, I don't know, the Philippines, assuming the ocean's warm over there.
Right.
I think it is. But just something like that. I just like just to swim along the bottom, see some wildlife, not get eaten by a shark. You know the
Mm-hmm.
drill.
That sounds
Yeah,
awesome. Like a just tropical adventure.
a tropical adventure. What would your number five be, Zach?
Um, I'd like to publish some music as well as the book. Publish some music. Get it like on, you know, streaming services. Maybe even print a record. That would be sick.
Now, are we talking like a country single,
Oh
or are
boy.
you like dubstep, or what are you thinking?
Um, well, this is my nature, right? I'm gonna put something on my bucket list and leave it completely open ended. I did say publish some music, and whether that's like an album or a single, whichever is easier, I suppose. But at the end of the day, but um, I would like to put some time into something I really enjoy and decorate time in the form of music and I do that. I do think I don't want to do country. um, I don't think I have a build for country yet, but I don't know, maybe something like indie, singer songwritery, something that you could
Yeah.
play like in a coffee shop. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay. I'm amending that bucket list item now. I want to create music that is played in a coffee shop while I'm in it. Oh my gosh.
Music. Yeah. And you know what? Just to make it even better, you should record that song inside an actual coffee shop.
What? Like a
It can
coffee shop
be
session?
it
Seption?
can be a song about you writing a song in a coffee shop called the Coffee
Oh,
Shop Sessions, and it's coffee shop music played in other coffee shops.
it practically writes itself. Oh my
It's
gosh.
musical inception right there.
Love that.
That's pretty great. I should have that on my bucket list. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Shoot. Speaking of your bucket list, what else you got?
So my number four, I mean, I guess you wouldn't really call it a backstory, but when I was a little kid, one thing that I always wanted to do was like fly well, like actually fly like superheroes, which isn't possible,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Unfortunately.
flown in a plane before, and it's an experience, definitely. But one thing that I do want to do is fly in like those small planes that you see, just those tiny little like two-seater planes that you see flying all over the place, like those little private ones. And I think that would be a lot of fun because I mean, you're just in this very thin, rickety old plane, like an old
Yeah.
biplane or something, just looking over everything, going at whatever speed you want to go. I mean, I probably wouldn't be flying it, obviously, but maybe I should have put pilot's license on here.
So just
Hmm,
just you in the sky, huh?
just me in the sky, just nothing but me, a plane, and a lot of air, and nothing in between me and the ground.
Can I tell you
Besides air,
something?
I would like to hear this something.
I've actually done that before.
How would you rate it out of 10?
I would rate it. It was amazing, but I was really scared. So,
Hmm.
um, okay. I'll tell you the rating afterwards. But I was in, I think Paraguay when I was visiting my mom's family, and
Hmm.
one of her relatives owns like a huge rice thing, and they're like very is rich the word affluent. They were very
Hmm.
affluent, right? They were always driving like these nice trucks with the
Yeah.
cellophane still on the dashboard wherever they went. They had like a separate house that we slept in that was
Hmm.
like I assumed it was for like you servants or whatever, but they weren't there. Dude, it was sick. And at one point they're like, "Hey, we're going to go check out the rice fields. Do you want to go with us?" And we're like, "Heck yeah." And so like, sweet, hop in this plane. I'm like, hop in what? And they had one of those like field planes, kind of like what you said. It was like a 6-seater, maybe a 4-seater, But
Mm.
me, my dad, the boss man, and the pilot were there, and they let me go in the front seat while I was with them. We got to wear the headsets because the engine was too loud. But at one point, he goes, hey, Zach. ¿Quieres montar la aeroplane? And I was like, no, sí, un poquito. He goes, okay, it's all yours. And so I grabbed the steering wheel, the steering column, because there's like two of them, right? The
Yeah.
co-pilot one and the pilot one. And I grabbed the steering column, and yeah, I turned it to the left and I turned it to the right. And he goes, yeah, do it some more. And I'm like, no, it's kind of scary. He goes, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be experiencing some brief turbulence. Immediately flips plane over.
Dude, if only. No, oh my gosh, it was great, Mason.
Yeah,
It was.
I will say one more thing about it, and that is part of my inspiration is actually, I may have told you about this,
Uh-huh.
but in the fields out by the Sacramento airport,
Uh-huh.
there is a fine gentleman that owns a farm out there, and almost all the time I would go to the airport, I would see this man flying his little yellow crop duster, like super close above the freeway, just to have fun with the people driving below him. And I want to be that guy, just have your own plane, fly around, mess with people. It'd be a good time.
That'd be awesome.
So,
Yeah,
now,
definitely a 9 out of 10.
definitely
100%.
9 out of 10. What's next on your bucket list, good sir?
Yeah, so I want to own and operate a motorcycle.
Hmm,
That would be fun. Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't own a motorcycle. I have a
really?
nice, yeah, sports car. My
Yeah, it
dad back in
smells
the
of
day,
crayons. I know it.
back in the day, before, why'd you have to say crayons, dude? Come on, now people are gonna think my car smells like crayons.
Well, I'm speaking. Mm, put me on the spot here. I mean, it's a good car. It just smells of crayons.
Okay,
It's
so
part of its personality, Zach. It's not an
yeah,
insult.
yeah. Okay. If you're listening to this and you are my car, you don't smell like crayons.
Don't smell like crayons.
But back to that,
We
my
love you.
dad used to be the guy back in the day, and he still is the guy. But
Yes.
I would look at old photos of him, and he was riding the sick motorcycle. I'm like, Dad, that is so sick. He's got this white bike, two wheels, very very cool. Awesome aesthetic. And I go, Dad, what happened to your motorcycle? He goes, Well, son, I sold it. I'm like, Why'd you sell it? He goes, I needed enough money to buy your mother an engagement ring. So,
Oh,
awesome. Yeah,
that's
totally.
great.
He had a motorcycle, rode it all the time, and then he got married. And then he bought a motorcycle afterwards. We had one for like a while when I was a kid, but I would want my own. That would be sick. And
Yeah.
then I could, maybe at one point sell it to buy an engagement ring. If that isn't true love, then I don't know what. Sue me, sue me again. This time for buying an engagement ring. That's
No, I mean, now that you added that little bit about the ring, that's actually a pretty great thing to put on your bucket list. So not only own a motorcycle, drive
right.
said motorcycle, but sell the motorcycle to pay for a much better cause.
That is
If
what
you
I
could,
want to do before I die.
yes, that is something to do.
Oh, what about you?
Now, so number three on my list is not a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing really to do with marriage. It's simply, I mean, it's kind of lame, but like I've considered going to Europe, but I mean, everyone in some
Right.
capacity wants to go to Europe. So
Right.
to be more specific, I want to go to Ireland. Just, I mean, I know there's not much there besides rolling hills and sheep. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
according to Hollywood at least, but I would like to visit Ireland, like Ireland and Wales, I guess you can say across the channel. But like, so
That would be
that's my
so
number
sick.
three. I think it would be a lot of fun.
What
It's a lot. Same with New Zealand, a lot of scenic views, all that good stuff.
did they film parts of the Lord of the Rings in Ireland?
I know that they filmed the final scene of A Force Awakens on on an island off the coast of Ireland,
No way.
and I guess therefore they filmed it in The Last Jedi, but we never speak of that movie, so you know. Yeah, that's my number three.
Okay. You want to hear my number three?
I would love to hear your number three. Be my guest.
I would like to live in a foreign country. And not
How
like,
long we talking?
yeah, okay. So I've visited foreign countries before, and I've been in them for weeks. I guess at most like 2 weeks, but
Hmm.
I would like to live in one, and I think that would be like defined as staying there over a month, or at one point me calling it home. Right? They say that home
Hmm.
is where the heart is. I don't, I don't know if I want to like go out and buy land and like just live in the boondocks of like Canada or something, but just have a place where I could call home on some foreign country
Yeah,
outside of America, I suppose.
that's that's pretty good. I mean, I tried living in an apartment for 3 months and that didn't go over well. So
Was it its own foreign country basically?
I I uh I don't know. Withdrawals is probably not the right word, but like not being in close proximity to people I know was difficult for me. But I mean, if you think you can pull it off, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I I respect that.
yeah.
So
What about
my
yeah? You're number two.
on 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 the same in the same vein of scary things, my number two is actually something that I almost did,
Hmm.
and technically a guy owes me a favor, but
Interesting.
my number two is to one day go either bungee jumping or skydiving, because nice nothing like falling to the earth at a terminal velocity to really wake you up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wait,
but yeah,
you said
my
you need
old
a
sail.
favor?
The guy owes me a favor. So, okay, there's a story to this one.
Let's hear it.
So basically, I worked a summer sales job last year.
Hmm.
I wasn't particularly great at it, but that's a lie because I was actually the third best person on the team
Okay.
somehow. And one particular month that I sold very well, the company gave me and two other guys the choice between two different things, one being bungee jumping, the other being skydiving. We
Dude.
ultimately decided to go skydiving, but after the summer sales job ended and the team broke up, sort of like your band, we it never really happened. So,
Oh.
I mean, technically I could call up my old manager and say, "Hey, remember me? You owe me a skydiving trip." But I mean, that's just a little too assertive, you know what I'm saying? It's a little much. So,
Right. And then
one
at that
day
point, would you
yeah.
even want to go skydiving with your old manager?
Well, that's the thing. My old manager would be paying for it through the company. So it's like they didn't give us like an actual voucher for it. They
Huh.
were just like, "Yeah, you get to go skydiving. Whoop-de-doos." And he was like, "Yeah, you guys should schedule it." And life happened, and the three guys, me included, never really got around to scheduling it. So it could be done, but most likely I'll probably just end up going later in life. And I think it would be pretty fun. They're like trying to conquer your fear of heights by jumping out of an airplane and trying not to die.
Are you,
I think it would be a lot of fun.
do you have a fear of
What's
heights?
your for a 6'5" guy? Yeah, I have a mild fear of heights.
Interesting.
What's next for you, Zach?
I want to get married. I want to
Oh,
kind of stemming off the motorcycle one. I do
yeah.
want to buy an engagement ring because
Hmm.
Mason, I want to get married. Like that's it. That would be so freaking cool. And I know that's doable before I die. If I don't die soon. But like that, you know what? Just like I don't know. The idea of being in love with someone, I I'm 20 and I may act Mason like I know everything about the world, but I really don't. Um, and just being married and being in a relationship like that with someone is something I do want to know, want to experience. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
ladies or anyone listening, links to his contact info down in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Zach is open. He is open.
So basically, I do. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be the sickest wedding ever. There's gonna be skydivers and bungee jumping available. So,
There's gonna be coffee music being played in a coffee house
it's gonna
about
be in
playing
a
music in a
foreign
coffee house
country.
in a foreign country. Did I mention that he'll be selling his autobiography?
Right.
My signed piece of merch will be on the table in the lobby.
It'll be a world record wedding for best wedding ever, and that's fact.
Yes. And then afterwards, we'll all go snorkeling and watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition
Because we'll
in one
also be
sitting.
in New Zealand. That's the foreign country.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's all coming together, Mason. Oh
it is all coming together.
yeah,
So,
jeez.
um,
So basically, that's it. I guess at the end of the list, we have like one more item each. Beforehand, I'd like to go through, some things that are great, but I wouldn't say like a bucket list worthy. What do you say, Mason?
well, I still,
Or do you have like a
you know
number?
what?
Yeah.
I did promise a bit of a surprise. We can have it a little earlier than intended,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, would you like to do the honors
Of the number one, or
of the honorable mentions
yeah.
slash plus one?
So honorable mentions. I do want to go on like, a countrywide road trip. That'd be sick. From one coast to the other. Um,
Okay.
I do. Let's see. What else? What else can you do? Visit space. That's not realistic, but that would be sick.
I mean, if you took an airplane and you really, really, really tried, I mean, maybe. You never know.
That could be my final item. uh,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. Just have kids count. That's kind of like in the marriage thing. That's honorable. But it's like I don't know.
It fits in.
Yeah.
There's some fine print underneath.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Right. Right.
you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's fair.
Do you have any
You do.
honorables?
I have just one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's sort of it's an honorable mention because it's on the bucket list, but I also know it's going to happen because it's more like a promise,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, so you and I are both familiar with a fine gentleman by the name of Andrew DeRocher, correct?
Yeah.
So, one thing that I do with Andrew all the time is we play a little game called Dungeons and Dragons.
Such a
I
fun
mean,
game. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
it's a great time. It's a golden experience. And one thing that we've been talking about doing for a long time is my birthday just so happens to be 1 month and 1 day before his.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan is when I turn 21, I am not going to have my first official 21 beer until his birthday.
Aw.
When on his birthday, we are going to play the most epic session of Dungeons and Dragons. The session, of course, being called Drunks and Dragons, in which every single time your character takes a hit, like we'll make a whole new campaign, whole new characters
Right.
for it. We'll probably invite a bunch of other people, and every time your character takes damage, you have to take a shot.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
amazing. Is it gonna be
we
like?
will need we'll need a designated driver,
Uh huh.
definitely. We volunteered his little brother to do that because he will not be 21 then. But
Exactly.
that's my honorable mention, and it's definitely going to happen, and I look forward to it happening. And heck, if you happen to be in the area, you will be there as well.
I
I'm
am
sure.
so down for Drunks and Dragons.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
but with
Now,
that being said, yeah, you go.
with that said, would you like to give your number one
Yeah,
as the finale?
here's my number one on my bucket list. This is like the most coveted thing. Um, it's probably going to be easier than a couple of the other things, but I think it's more important in every aspect of the word. So a little bit of a backstory. I like to teach people, and I like to. I don't know. I would say that I'm a pretty cool person, right? I like to make people happy, and that's just who I am. I do. Someone asked me this question a couple months ago. What's on your bucket list? And I said, I don't know, change someone's life for the better. And I was thinking about that. And Zach, that's kind of like it's kind of a generic thing to say because everyone wants to change someone's life for the better. But I do, and it's true if not generic. But I mean, building upon that further, it's like, well, what's something that you can do? I want to teach people, right?
Yeah.
I do want to be a math teacher, and that's kind of like my job as it's lined up to be. So having that on my bucket list would be like nice, if not honorable. But let's take this one step further. Are you following me?
I am.
Okay, so I want to change someone's life for the better. And what better way to do that than to teach someone something that they'll never forget, right? And what is the one thing that people always relate to you never forgetting how to do?
Well, I could think of a good many things, none of which come to mind right now, which is, I guess, a contradiction. But
It's just like riding a bike. Mason
I,
Lendewig.
I was gonna say ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but riding a bike's pretty good too.
I want to teach someone how to ride a bike. And that
That is
is my
a very
number
noble
one
number one.
item.
That's a good number one. That's a
Yeah.
good number one.
What do you think?
I mean, your bucket list has this grand narrative to it, which I think is pretty cool. And I mean, obviously, the number one, like, it could totally be a kid, or I mean, just some random Joe you find on the side of the road. I mean,
That's never ridden a bike before.
that's never ridden a bike before. But I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good number one. I
that's
respect
it.
that.
What about yours? Let's hear it.
So I'll give a bit of an intro to mine as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I am 20 years old, and I've spent the vast majority of my life here in California, in the United States.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have some things on here for like, oh, let's visit this country or visit this country.
Mm-hmm.
And my number one is I don't know if you would call it special, but I mean, like, there's one thing that would always be fun to look back on and say I did is I traveled all the way to the other side of the world. But there's some fine print there because the
All
other
right.
side of the world is communist China, and you don't want to get trapped in there or shot. We're not about that.
Sure.
So let's skip a couple 100 miles east, and my number one is to visit Japan actually, because just to visit a place that just has a completely different everything from what I've experienced, and
Right.
just a completely different world, completely different culture, completely different people, where I don't know very much about them, they don't know very much about me, and I mean, either visit or stay there for however long. I think that's a good number one because it's the most out of my comfort zone I think I could ever do, and I think it would be a very good life experience, something to look back on. So
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. So that's it, huh?
that's it.
We
That's all
did
she
it.
wrote.
Well, Mason, I don't know what else to put other than thank you so much for potting with me.
Yeah,
This has been,
absolutely.
freaking wonderful. It's always good talking with you, but just recording this with you is just a different kind of awesome. Um,
Hey, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm pretty great, and if I were you, I would also be thrilled at any chance to talk with yours truly.
Everyone, be
So
sure to go out onto your favorite social media and look for Mason Lendwig, and then realize that um,
I am on none of them.
he's on none of them. But maybe if I get enough hearts and likes and shares on this video, we could do Mason Lendwig 2, the Electric Boogaloo. I don't. Is there anything you want to plug? Like, do you have any creative outlet or something?
I have many creative outlets, but most of them are just things like writing and drawing, which are usually done in private. So I would say if your podcast gets X number of views or this number of likes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I will open a social media that we can later edit into beneath wherever this is posted so
Mm-hmm.
people can find me and see that I am a person and I exist
Heck
and
yeah.
I'm alive. Yeah.
Cool.
So my question for you would then be like, I don't know, because this is you're your podcasts are pretty popular, I must say. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Oh.
on multi platforms,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. But I mean, like, what do you think the target should be if we are to fulfill this challenge?
Fulfill the challenge. Oh, to like the target amount of like likes. Let's do a
Yeah,
like thing. Okay, if
let's
this
do.
video can get more than 100 likes, we will create social medias, singular or plural, for Mason Lendewig, and that's
Let's
a
do
fact.
it. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And then that is my plug. I require popularity from others to plug myself.
I think you know what? It sounds wrong, but I think you're doing it right. Thank you so much, Mason Lendewig.
So right. Thank you, Zach Dezay, for having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure.
All right, and with that, we are out.